So, what is up, all you heels and faces, all you marks and smarks? This is the Ringside Hookah podcast, sleeper holds and lighting coals, the place where wrestling and hookah meet to join forces like the mega forces that you never thought would actually happen. I got a lot of metaphors in this episode for some reason, Moise. I don't even know why, but I do.
Before we get into it, apologies for the all-in show because we don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened. I feel so bad because there was a couple people that like legitimately wanted to hear our thoughts, and when I say couple, I mean like the literal sense of couple. And it wasn't me and Moise; it was somebody else actually. But yeah, I don't know what happened. I really don't. Not only was our voice completely muted on it, which maybe I'm doing something wrong. So like hold on a second with me. I'm gonna listen to this and see what happens. I'm doing something wrong. So like that's our recording. So it should be we're live. That should be able to be heard around the world. So we should be good. We should be okay. Let me know though if for some reason you're listening, you're watching live, you can hear us okay. We are everything's going through okay. But without further ado, let's get the show started. Hey yo. I am the bad guy, Matt, your humble host, one of your hosts that is. Joined with me is the man, the myth, the Moise. Moise, how are you doing, my friend? What are you up to?
I'm doing good. We had a really good week of wrestling, I think, and I still got NXT left, so
yeah,
I'm pretty excited.
I haven't watched NXT. B-Lou! What is up, B-Lou? He is here, fan of the AM Hookah podcast, knows about this awesome stuff we have going on. My next Superstar Spotlight, Moise, is actually going to be because of B-Lou. He told me that I should do Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and I was like, that is a great idea. So I'm going to make sure to do that.
That's a good one, especially because Vince and Triple H were really high on his son, too, before the injuries.
For a little while, yeah. I don't know what's going on with that exactly.
Also, no, like, they said he can't wrestle again. Like, that's how bad the injuries got,
Oh, man, that's horrible news, man. That's really terrible. Chris is also here. What is up, Chris? Nice to see you stopping by. Appreciate it, as always. We're going to be talking about Hell in a Cell. This is a review of the Hell in a Cell and also the aftermath that was caused because of it. Which means that we're also going to be covering a little bit of Raw and a little bit of SmackDown, not NXT, though, for this week. So let us know what you guys thought about it in the chat as well. Were you a fan of Hell in a Cell? I'll be honest, we'll start a little bit early on our thoughts and opinions. I was a bigger fan of this show than I think you were, Moise, from the sounds of it.
Yeah, a lot of people were into some matches I wasn't into, and I was into some matches that a lot of the majority wasn't into. So that's a good thing about wrestling. Like, everyone has completely differing opinions sometimes.
Hell in a Cell was interesting, is what Chris says. And I think that's honestly, like, the best way to put it. Like, it was legitimately interesting. This is one of the first shows that is a throwaway pay-per-view that had actual storyline implications to further the line for certain people, which I thought was really good, actually. I don't know. We'll get into it, obviously. Before we get started, we did have a couple of questions that were asked inside of our Facebook group. In case you did not know, there is a Facebook group for the Ringside Hookah just on Facebook. It's a group. Ask to join. B-Lou, I know you're not a big fan of Facebook, so if you have a question, feel free to ask it in the chat. Chris, you're here live, obviously. If you have a question, ask it in the chat. Anybody else that shows up, please feel free, ask it in the chat.
What are you smoking, Matt, today before we get started?
Thank you so much, Moise, keeping me on track without the rambleness. I'm smoking some Sherbetly. I am high on this Sherbetly stuff. I'm not kidding you. I'm really enjoying what this brand has to offer. The flavor profiles for me, they're overly sweet, but they're not syrupy. They're very strong for the first hour that you're going to be smoking it, which is good in my opinion. I'm really enjoying this. I'm doing a mix of cranberry ice, exotic lime, and the mint flavor. So this is a really good, sweet, minty bowl. I'm really enjoying this quite a bit. I'm using a Provost, Stone Vortex, and 3 titanium flats in my Like Smoke Hookah because I love the Like Smoke Hookah. What about you, Moise? What are you huffing and smoking on today?
I went simple today. I went Alpha Gamma Amore, which is like a watermelon floral. And I am smoking that with 2 titanium cubes on an Alpaca Mini Rook, out of the Initiate, Droid Hose. Just keeping it simple today.
Very, very nice. So we had somebody, B-Lou, he just said, why you call it a throwaway pay-per-view? Is it because it's not Rumble, Survivor Series, or Mania? And then Chris says that he is smoking Fumari Prickly Pear. What is your take on Sherbetly Green Mix? So I'm noticing right now that we're actually having some hiccups in our stream. I hope we're not causing too many. Let's see. Yeah, I'm having some network problem on my end. This is actually not caused by you, Moise. So good on you. If we're, let's see. I'm gonna try and see what our live is showing right now. If we're breaking out really bad, let me know in the chat. Caused by you, Moise. So good on you. It sounds like our audio is probably going to be okay. It's probably more going to be our. Hey, what's up, Tony? How's it going, Tony? What do you think of Hell in a Cell? Tony, good friend of the show and member of the Ringside Hookah Facebook
Tony
group as
really
well.
did not like Hell in a Cell.
Really?
Let's be honest. From what it seems, Tony's like giving up on the product, so maybe we can bring him back.
Chris saying, Matt, with those technical difficulties, you know, I try to bring my certain finesse to all the different podcasts that I'm a part of. So one
day when we take off and, you know, we're making that Vince McMahon money, I'll buy you a library to where you have like internet in that library, and then we'll be perfect.
It's not so much my internet. It's a whole other side of things. All right, let's get into this real quick. Don't get me started, Moise. Moise is right. Main roster equals boo-boo. NXT is very good. Yes, it is. And there was no takeover. But let's go back into where I was starting to go to before I got thrown off of my game. Let's talk about some stuff when it came to questions. So let's tackle Belu's first real quick because he asked the question right here live with us, obviously. If you guys want to do that, just hit sub, hit like. Also, make sure you hit that bell icon so you know the moment that we go live. That's the best way to keep up with us, basically. All right, so why did I call it a throwaway pay-per-view? In the past, there are 4 pillars of pay-per-view in the WWE. It is Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, and WrestleMania. Those are the 4 main pay-per-views, and in past years, Survivor Series and SummerSlam have been very hit or miss when it comes to the relevancy of it.
And they've been replaced by Money in the Bank, a lot would say. Money in the Bank took that Survivor Series spot, a lot of people are saying.
I would agree with that. I would almost say that at one time, Elimination Chamber was also taking a spot in there until it became so heavily gimmickized that it became less of a relevant pay-per-view in a lot of ways. It became a transitional pay-per-view, which is what a lot of these pay-per-views are, right? The majority of pay-per-views that we witness and watch today are transitional pay-per-views to get us to the next month. It's why we have a lot of blow-off matches that happen or matches that are like one-time exhibition-style matches, but they don't always hold storyline implications to them. This is not in every match scenario. It's just like an overall card feeling to it. That is something that's happened in the past a lot. I still think that this pay-per-view Hell in a Cell, very transitional, not a high-ranking look at the people who won. Look at the storylines that didn't move forward. They just stayed in the same place. What do you think about that? Was this a transitional or a meaningful pay-per-view in your opinion?
I'm going to say it was a transitional, but that's only because now we got like all these overseas shows that are becoming like Mania-esque, you know? You got Super Showdown.
They're not
you
really...
got Crown Jewel. I'm saying with the crowd and everything.
Okay.
Not storyline-wise.
Gotcha.
With the crowd, you'll get that feeling that it's like oh, dang. Even though it's at 3 a.m, like when I'm watching it, you know, you got that huge crowd. It gives that feel.
So the pay-per-views back in the day, Belu brings up a really good point. He said, I remember when WWF started doing that BS, they had 8 of those in-your-house events. These are in-your-house events for the most part. Like, pay-per-views are to garner money. They're for 2 reasons. Before, they were for garnering money for the pay-per-view buys to show networks how much pool that they could have. Nowadays, it's to provide content for the WWE Network. That is the biggest reason why we have the pay-per-views that we do, especially the amount of pay-per-views that we have nowadays, right, is purely because they want to make sure that they have content for their... We're getting lots of dropped frames. I just want to make sure that they can hear our audio more than anything. That's the important thing. Let me know, guys. Can you hear our audio? Because they want to make sure that they have audio seems to be okay. Let me know what is glitching out, if it's purely us, our video, or because if it's our video, we can always stop the stream real quick and I can reset my modem and try to fix it a little bit. But if you can hear us talking okay, then I probably won't worry about that. Let me know what it is looking like. So this is, I feel like this is a transitional event, but they did have some good storyline implications as well, which was a good thing, obviously. Let's get into some questions. Okay, Tony with a question on the Facebook group actually asks, why are they still trying to beat Roman Reigns down everyone's throats? And I want to answer this question first because I'm going to surprise you with what I'm going to say. I don't think they're ramming Roman Reigns down people's throats anymore. I think Roman Reigns is over.
I agree.
I think Roman Reigns is actually over right now. He's not over as a babyface. He's not over as a heel. He's over as an entity, which I think is what WWE wants for him to be in a lot of ways. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think they're still beating him down people's throats, or do you think that it is taken a complete turn where this is what people actually want to see? Not everybody, but a large enough majority.
I completely agree with you. I feel more so that the people getting shoved down our throats now are Braun and Charlotte, honestly.
Charlotte, to a certain extent, I'm going to have to agree with you on that. And even though
the people getting shoved,
it kind of pains me to even say that, because I like Charlotte a lot, and I like the matches that she puts on, obviously, but to a certain extent, kind of in a weird way. But she okay, well, we're not going to go into spoilers yet. Yeah. So next question, we're going to save until a little bit later. Anybody else in the chat have any questions they'd like us to discuss before we get into this main talking about? Let me see if there was something that I might have missed. I don't think there was. Chris did say that Showdown sounds amazing. So does Evolution. Can't wait for them. Agreed. I'm actually excited for Showdown. I really am. Like, I think that it's going to be a lot of good wrestling, and I think it's going to be a really fun event overall.
We're going to be seeing a lot of each other this month, it seems.
Yeah, I think so. Laugh my ass off. Bilu just said he's not over. He's over. Like he's not Von Erich in '83 or Flair in '87 over. Even Warrior early '90s. I agree. He's not those kinds of over. This is a different kind of. We are entering a different generation. The generation, we have the new era, the new generation. We have the Attitude Era. We have the Ruthless Aggression. We have the kind of reality era. We have, we're going through all these eras, and I think we've kind of entered a new era in a lot of ways. We're seeing.
No, and I agree, because Cody Rhodes just had an interview where they asked him, "Are you a face or a heel?" And Cody said, "That's up to the crowd now. It's not up to the writers. It's up to the crowd if you're a heel or a face. Look at the Becky Charlotte storyline. It's up to the crowd now."
That one's different, and I want to get into that with you a little bit as well, because I think that would be interesting. Who do you guys want them to bring in? Ooh, let's tackle this question real quick, and then we'll move over. I'm assuming he doesn't mean who do we want them to bring up from NXT. He wants us to know, or he wants to know who do we want to see them bring in from maybe overseas or something like that. Is there anybody in particular? You have a man crush on somebody. Who is it that you want to see come over into the WWE?
I want Brian Cage so bad.
I thought you were going to say Janelle, or what, Janela? What's his name?
Joey Janela? I like Joey Janela.
Okay.
But he's only 25, 26, so he's got time. But I want Brian Cage so bad.
I want to see them bring in some luchadors. I want to see them bring in somebody that is going to be exciting to watch wrestle. Rumor is Rey Mysterio is going to come for another run, obviously, which is exciting. But I want to see some younger luchadors. I want to see Pentagon. I want to see him in that company because I love him so much.
Pentagon and Phoenix news came out today. They did re-sign for season 5 of Lucha Underground, and which means they basically re-signed with TNA because they're all doing their like weird cross promotion with MLW and everything now.
Yeah. Interesting stuff for sure. So let's go ahead and get into Hell in a Cell finally. It's time to talk about the event in which we are talking about. This is the Hell in a Cell review show. What do you guys give it in the chat? Out of 10, what do you guys give it? I want to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. What was your favorite match, your least favorite match, a memorable moment, all those kinds of things. We're going to kick it off with the pre-show stuff that happened, obviously. The very first thing that happened inside of the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view was the kickoff show, which we saw a tag team match for the SmackDown Championships. It was the New Day coming in victorious against Rusev Day. I like that there's a lot of days being used for tag teams. That's just kind of a funny thing right now.
Well, Rusev Day's over.
Oh, well, they
well,
were.
It's the end. It's the end. That's what I mean. It's over.
Yeah. Wow. This is going to be fun to talk about. I didn't watch this match. I just saw the highlights for this one. It looked like a fine match. Nothing important happened except for the fact that the storyline between Rusev and Ingram, or what's his name?
Aiden English.
Aiden English is over. Their friendship is gone. Aiden English is taking credit for being the reason why Rusev got over, which is honestly the truth. And
that's one thing I don't understand about Rusev. Like, he's good in the ring. He's a funny guy on social media, but it seems he was over because of Lana and because of Aiden English.
Yeah. definitely. And Aiden English is going to run with that. I hope this means that we're going to see a push. I feel bad for Rusev, but I kind of feel like this means that we should see a push for Aiden English. Honestly, like this is what technically that's what should happen. Like we should see. I know Aiden English is the heel in this, and Rusev will be the babyface, so the babyface should get his comeuppance of the heel. But I think Aiden English deserves a push of some kind because he's shown his ability in the ring, on the mic, as a personality. Honestly, like there could be some really fun stuff done with Aiden English, in my opinion.
And I'm going to say something which I think a lot of people are going to disagree with, but the way they built this up, it's kind of like Becky and Charlotte, where I feel more for Aiden English than I do for Rusev. Like, he's over here trying to help his best friend. You know, it's wrong spot, wrong time, but I like Rusev being mean to him. Rusev doesn't need to be mean to him.
No, it was odd how they booked it, but it's definitely working in a lot of ways. But still, okay, so the match ends with the New Day retaining their championship. Nothing big or exciting happens in the actual match necessarily. Now let's move on to the actual event, Hell in a Cell, with the very first match that was a very, very good Hell in a Cell match, and a actual Hell in a Cell match, which we'll discuss towards the end of this with the last one that happens. But we see Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton in a physical, violent, vulgar, disturbing matchup that I think is a really good indication that the WWE can do PG programming and they can do teen programming, adult programming, just the same, in the same card, honestly, in a lot of ways. What
Randy Orton's a perfect heel for it, which I never understood why they kept switching him back and forth. I know he gets over when he's a heel, and then they want to make him a face to capitalize on the merchandising, you know, but I think he's so good in this edgy heel role that it's perfect for him.
He also sold me on him being back in this match. He made me okay with the fact that we're getting some errors now. Hold on a second. I'm gonna do something real quick. Hold on just a moment. You might see a blip in our stream real quick. Hold on. Hold on a second, guys. We got some oddities going on in this thing that we have. Let me reset this real quick. Hold on just a moment. Hold on, we didn't have any audio. Hold on, now we're good. Sorry about that, guys. I forgot to unmute us. I just asked Moise what did he think about the Randy Orton Hell in a Cell match overall. Go ahead.
I liked it. It was very physical. I agree with you. It shows that Randy Orton's back. It's the perfect role for him. The only gripe I have with it, like I loved how Randy Orton asked for the pin when they called out the EMTs, but I think the last spot was kind of off by like a couple of seconds. Like Randy got off the table before Jeff jumped.
A little bit early, and it made it look a little funky in a lot of ways. But still, it was spectacular looking. Do you think Jeff Hardy actually got injured? Was there a report that came out if he actually got injured from that spot?
No, I heard he's taking a couple of weeks off, so We'll see what happens.
Good. I'm glad he didn't actually get hurt because it looked violent. It looked really scary. So if you're not 100% sure, we're going to go ahead and describe it. I thought he was going to leapfrog the big ladder, which I thought was going to be a crazy spot on its own. I thought Randy was going to move the whole time. He should never have kept his foot off of it, in my opinion. It made it way less believable that he was actually going to hit a big move on him. But he decides to climb up the big tall ladder, and then he grabs onto the cage and he starts dangling off of it, and then he starts swinging on it, and when he falls, boom, he hits the table instead of hitting Randy Orton, and it just blows up. It just explodes on him. It's crazy looking.
Tables have been blowing up everywhere now, right?
They have. They really have. We'll talk about that more towards the end as well, actually. But still a phenomenal, crazy ending to the match. Randy Orton demands that the referee counts on him, which I thought was a very violent heel move for him to do, which worked really well for his character, obviously. This was a phenomenal match. This was a I mean, honestly, this is a 5-star match in a lot of ways. The wrestling for the actual match was great. The spots that they performed was really good. The whole thing just was, from top to bottom, a great match in a lot of ways, and an awesome way to open up the show, in my opinion.
And a lot of people didn't want this match to be in the cell. They're like, "Come on, we don't need these two guys in the cell," and then it paid off.
It did. It really did. Let's move on to the next match. This was Becky Lynch finally getting her due. She fights against Charlotte, and she beats her in a great finish and in a wonderfully story-wise done matchup. This is one of those matches that had actual storyline implications for everything going on and ends in a proper way. Becky Lynch is not a heel. Not at all. She is a badass babyface, and she is the stone cold version, female-wise, in this generation right now. And I think it's working phenomenally, in my opinion. I love Becky Lynch.
It's very similar to when they tried to make Lita a heel, like when they had Kane harassing her, and then you saw her and Kane actually become friends when she was feuding with Trish, you know? And it kind of reminds me of that, where Lita just got so over because of the stuff she was willing to do, you know?
Yes. The matchup is hot the entire time. The wrestling between the two women, they do a great job going back and forth. Every time that Becky starts to get momentum, Charlotte stops her. Every time Charlotte gets momentum, Becky stops her. There's some great moments in false finishes. Honestly, it's just a really good match, and it's worth rewatching too, in my opinion, as well. So
yeah, I completely agree. I wish they would have held off on the title switch until Evolution, because now I feel like Charlotte's going to win it back at Evolution, which I hope they don't do. But I like it. It was good, great match. They have great chemistry, as we know. They're best friends behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. Wrestling's not real, guys. Yeah, so
we're getting a lot of lag, is what we're being reported right now. I'm so sorry, Chris. I know you're trying to enjoy the show. I don't know what's going on. My internet is fine. We're not having any hiccups on our end. It must be something going on in YouTube or something like that. My suggestion would be close the window down so you just hear us talking and not worry about the video, because I don't know if there's going to be any way that I can fix that right now. Very, very sorry about that, though. I like the fact that Becky did not let Charlotte hold her hand up at the end of it. I'm glad that she denied the handshake at the end of it, too. It worked so well for her. Storyline wise and stuff, just overall the entire thing was like that. Very, very good, very, very well done, in my opinion. Okay, so let's move on to the next match. This was Dolph.
Before we move on, on SmackDown, do you think they kind of overdid it with the whole Becky, I don't want you to raise my hand, I want you to put the title around my waist? Do you think they kind of overdid it?
Well, no, I want you to call me Queen, bitch. I thought that was great. I honestly, no, I don't think they're overdoing it yet. I think that they still have a long way to go before they can, because these two people can keep having matches at a high caliber that it's going to be enjoyable to watch, and it's going to be meaningful for wrestling fans, in my opinion. So,
and it's not like Sasha and Alexa, where you knew Alexa was going to win every time, or Becky and Alexa, when you knew Alexa was going to win every time. You could literally have them flip the title at the next SmackDown and then flip it again at Evolution, which I hope they don't do.
Yeah, I hope they don't. In fact, I want Becky to win multiple times, and I want her to stake her claim on top of the roster in this division, honestly. I think that's what needs to be done with this title to give it some more legitimacy, and I think it could be done, honestly, too. So it's exciting.
You know who I think could be a perfect pawn in this? Because they still are teasing that Naomi's friends with both of them. Just have Becky do the same thing to Naomi. Hey, didn't you only hold the title once or something? And just because Naomi gets that babyface reaction too, you know.
Yes, yeah, she's exciting to watch for sure. Moving on to the next match, we have Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose going up against Drew and Dolph Ziggler. This was one of those transitional matches where you know they're not ready to take the title off yet because they're saving it for a bigger moment. Still a very good match, as all four of these guys always put on very good matches and stuff like that. It was a fun romp, honestly. They all did some great stuff. I thought the finish was phenomenal too, where you see him going for the suplex, and then he gets hit with the Claymore kick, and then Dolph Ziggler just falls on top of him, and they count 1, 2, 3. That was super well done, in my opinion, and a great way to end this match without hurting anybody and keeping everybody high up on the totem pole still, in my opinion. The match itself, great moments, chemistry along all these guys. They are all doing a great job. Drew McIntyre is one of my favorite wrestlers right now. He has the looks, he has the ability, he has the persona. Everything he does, in my opinion, is very, very well done. What did you think about this match? What was your feelings on it?
This was actually my favorite match of the night, surprisingly. Okay. They, like you said, they have great chemistry. You're never going to get a bad match out of these four. Like, you might get a match, but you're never going to get a bad match out of these four. And I think they all brought it to the table. They all put it out there. And it makes me want to see more of it. So we're getting more of it at the Super Showdown or whatever, you know?
Yeah. Which I think is actually good. I think that these guys, it's because they do a good enough job all the time. They even traded wins on SmackDown as well, which I thought was a fine thing to do. I thought it worked well for all the people involved in the match as well. Just overall, everything was super well done in this. I think we might be off the air right now. We are. Why are we getting so many fucking problems?
Do you think it's a YouTube thing? Because I don't think it's on either of our ends, because I can hear you perfectly. You're not lagging to me.
Yeah, my internet's fine.
More of it at the Super Showdown or whatever, you know?
My internet is fine, so it's not on either one of our ends. This has to do with YouTube. It has to be, because I'm showing no problem, or it has to be in the OBS software or something, because it's not causing problems for me at all. I don't know what the issue is. I'm sorry, guys. I really am. I don't want to stop doing this and plan it for another night. We're already here doing recording and stuff. So we're just going to kind of keep pushing through, sadly. I'm sorry, guys, if it's a problem. Let's go ahead and go to the next match. You said this was what's the big reason why this match was your favorite match, though?
I like actual wrestling, and I think we got a lot of it in this. You know, like, all four of these guys are great wrestlers. The personas, and, like, it made me want to see more, and that's why I really liked it.
Yes, I agree with that completely, and we are going to get more, so that's exciting. Let's go to the next match, which I thought had a very good. I thought it had a great finish as well. AJ versus Joe. Joe is doing such a good job. I love the video package and the promo leading up to this with the storybook telling and everything. That was phenomenal, man. That was so good. That harkened back to like really visceral and cerebral heels, in my opinion. And Joe is doing such a good job at doing that, in my opinion. What did you think of this match?
I think Samoa Joe and Randy Orton are two of the best heels we have in the company right now, and they're both on SmackDown. And I love the finish because it's kind of a screwy finish. Like, you'd want Joe to get that rematch,
yes.
And after the match, you saw him go up to Paige saying, "No disqualification match," which is what we're going to get in Australia. And I'm excited for that match. Dude, these two can go. They've known each other forever. Great chemistry. And it's always, like, it makes you want to keep watching. It's not one of those matches where you pull out your phone and start texting in the middle of it, you know?
Yeah. I feel bad for Joe, because I don't think Joe is going to get the title off of this feud. I don't think he is. I think in this world of PG professional wrestling and the era of the stuff that we're in, I don't think we're ever going to see the bad guy triumph against the good guy. I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't. I think that we're only going to see AJ Styles ever come out on top of any of these matches that they have, which is sad for Joe because he deserves a title, obviously, but he's not going to win it inside of this feud, in my opinion. Something's going to have to change where he's not going after AJ's family for this to have any sort of change in a lot of ways, in my opinion. I think that we'll talk about it more family-wise for the next match when it comes to what happens. But this is a different case. We're going to see the champion, we're going to see the babyface come out on top and stay on top, in my opinion. That's what I see.
I don't see him losing it to anyone but
Stay on top,
Randy
in
at
my
this point, unfortunately.
Yeah, somebody who's yeah, exactly. Which I hope doesn't happen. I don't think Randy needs another run with the title belt, so I hope that doesn't wind up happening. Honestly, um, all right. Well, yeah, a very good match. Favorite matches of the night, honestly. So far, every one of these matches has been a 3 to 5 star match, in my opinion. Like, they've all been overly good to great matches and just a wonderful card in almost everything that they do. Man, what is going on? A match, in my opinion. Like, they've all been overly. Okay, so let's go to the next match. The next match is The Miz and Maurice versus Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella in a very good match as well. And this is the match where this is one of those matches that's gonna further the storyline, so that eventually we see Daniel Bryan conquer the bad guy, which is The Miz, and that's great. I hope they keep saving this. I want to see Bryan keep losing, so that the moment that he wins on a large scale, it's gonna be super big and really meaningful. I think that's the way that this is gonna turn into. Miz is only gonna be able to cheap his way out of wins so often until finally Daniel Bryan gets his win in this. What do you think of this match, Moise?
I really wasn't looking forward to it because of the Brie and Maurice angle, but they did their part really well.
Yeah.
And then on SmackDown, we found out that these two are going to face each other in Australia for a #1 contender slot. And I think Miz will win again because I think I want to see Daniel Bryan take the title off of Miz, and maybe that's who AJ loses it to, and Daniel Bryan takes it off of Miz.
Could you imagine like the pandemonium if Miz wins the title? Miz wins the title, and then we see Daniel Bryan beat The Miz for the title. That's going to be huge. This is long-form storytelling the way that it needs to be done. This is good professional wrestling storylines. The Miz is such a good heel. Daniel Bryan is such a lovable babyface. Like, this right here is what we love about professional wrestling, the long-form storylines, and that's what we're getting.
This is what Triple H and Booker T should have been when Triple H didn't want to put Booker T over because he was a WCW guy.
Yes, this is I completely agree with you. Very good match. Maurice sneaks away with the win. I wish it would have been a dirty finish. I don't know why it was such a clean finish. It didn't need to be clean at all. It should have been dirty. I don't know why she didn't pull the tights or put her feet on the ropes or something. Giving her a clean finish did not help anybody in this. That's the only problem that I had with the ending of this match, is that it was a clean finish and not a dirty finish, which I believe it should have been.
I could see them like doing that because they want to do Brie and Maurice at Evolution, maybe, and then that's where Maurice will get the dirty win. But like I said, that's a little skid mark on the match, which
yes,
we know it's a long-term story.